Good evening. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Jefferson County Board of Education on Monday, July 22nd. If you please join us for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And then if I could also ask if we could have just a moment of silence for Dana Butts, who was a kindergarten and special ed teacher at C.W. Shipley, who recently passed away, and her funeral was today. Thank you. All right, superintendent's comments. Mr. Dilly, you have the pleasure of joining us in that seat this evening, so you're really getting thrown into the fire quickly, so welcome.
It's not an unfamiliar seat, but happy to help out. And I'm sure Dr. Gibson is, keep telling her to quit worrying about it. We're going to take care of it while she's absent, so we'll take care of it this evening for her as well.
All right, thank you.
That's all. Thank you.
Approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting held July 8th, 2019?
Second.
Any discussion or changes? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Citizens' comments. Ms. Ogden, would you mind being the timekeeper, please? Just a reminder, you're limited to 3 minutes. And first up is Mark Everhart, followed by David Tabb. Nope, the podium right there.
Great. Had a laptop on it, so I wasn't sure.
Nope, there you go.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Everhart. I'm from Shepherdstown. According to your agenda, later tonight you'll be once again discussing the possibility of holding a special election to vote on a bond to fund various capital improvement projects. I'm here tonight to ask you to vote against moving forward with any sort of special election and instead place the bond on the 2020 primary ballot. I've been told special elections cost roughly $89,000. And since the Jefferson County Commission rightfully denied your request for assistance in holding a special election, all of that money would need to come out of the Board of Education's budget. I find it appalling that the Board of Education would use nearly $90,000 of taxpayer money to have those same taxpayers vote on a bond that is likely going to increase their tax rates. During her presentation in front of the County Commission, Mrs. Skinner commented that the bond vote needed to happen immediately because some of the projects included in the bond just couldn't wait, and she mentioned that work had already begun on several of the projects. Under further questioning about the BOE's plan should the bond fail, she admitted that there was money in the BOE's savings account to cover the cost of those projects. Later during the same presentation, the bond expert that accompanied Mrs. Skinner that night admitted that construction of the buildings included in the bond was 2 to 3 years away because the projects would require a long planning period before any work started. I bring this up because to me it stands as proof that there is no immediate need for the bond, and delaying the vote a few months until the 2020 primary would have no lasting negative impact on the Board of Education's future construction plans. I would also question the need to include projects in the bond package if the board already has money and savings to cover those projects. In closing, I'd like to remind each and every one of you that your use of taxpayer money is a privilege that we've granted you as taxpayers. It is not a right, and careful consideration needs to be given to each and every expenditure you make. It is your responsibility to be good stewards of our money, and this does not include spending upwards of $89,000 on a special election for a bond that could be voted on at no additional taxpayer expense during the 2020 primary. Thank you.
Mr. Tabb, and after Mr. Tabb, we have Sandy Poole.
Good evening. David Tabb, Jefferson County resident, lifelong taxpayer. I echo the words from the previous speaker. All I can say to that is, really? You're gonna come after us with a $70 million bond to do something we're already paying the taxes for? Really? To another subject. The school out there in JUI, Jefferson Utilities, I got documents from you guys dealing with a very lucrative deal from JUI, Jefferson Utilities, of selling a well and right-of-ways to JUI for $100 for supposedly the promise that you're going to be supplied water. Did you know that within this documentation it shows that he's going to be selling water to other people through your property? Did you happen to know that? I got the design for the pipe. It doesn't say it in any of the document that he's allowed to do that, but according to the stuff that's in the deeds, he's bringing a line clear across past the well to Marcus Enterprises, which is a development of Fox Glen, which he's going to use to sell water to Fox Glen, shut down everything that they have there, and collect money off of a strategic water line that was put in for another strategic project. I won't use the R word. To start collecting money instantly that he needs money because it's not producing any revenue, and he's going to use y'all to do it. I think you really need to review some of these documents. Don't think they're legal. You didn't tell anybody. Nobody else was involved. I'm involved with the Public Service Commission. I'm an intervener. And actually the project was offered to me for $100,000, which I've already secured $100,000 cash to do so. But here you sold us out and allowing a service line to be put in to sell money to sell product to somebody else that I don't think y'all knew about. Just something to think about. Y'all have a nice day.
And after Ms. Poole, we have Jay Mansfield.
Hi, I'm Sandy Poole. I'm a business partner for Jefferson County, and I just wanted to let you guys know that we started a collection in the honor of a friend's child that passed away called Charlotte's Purpose. Each year they do a weekend of kindness. So I was trying to figure out something to do, and we decided that my project, and I got another Allstate office as well to join, is going to be to get a book for every kindergartner. So what we wanted to do was find out how many kids that you have. We're going to put a little sticker in each book. We thought we could just do one grade, one school. Then we thought we could do 2 schools. In the first week, we've collected 300 new books and a lot of cash. So there might be the possibility that we can give a book to every kindergartner in the whole entire system, but we're not positive yet. So we'd like your help if you could tell me, we did the Title I schools and we picked Page Jackson. If we get more books, what schools to go to. I hate to leave a school out, but it could be that we're a little bit short, I'm not sure. So I just wanted to let you guys know, I have a couple flyers about it that I'll leave, and then you guys can look at them. But, so you guys can decide what schools or I would just need the help, so we can figure out the amount. But it's, the day we'd like to give the book away is Monday, October 21st. So, to be honest, I can't think we wouldn't have 750 books by that day, as much as we're getting now. So I believe we'd have one for every kindergartner, and the logistics of how you want us to do it would just be what we wanted to know. But we would go to each school and hand them out. So, thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Mansfield?
Well, I haven't practiced this, so there's a good chance that I'm going to repeat myself a couple of times, and I apologize for that. I'm nervous, so that's probably going to make it worse. 19 people died in Costa Rica due to methanol poisoning. Methanol is what's coming out of the stack at Rockwall. It's coming out as a gas because it's hot, and it's going to condense in the atmosphere, and it's going to land in the area. The question is it going to land in a concentrated manner, or is it going to land diluted? And I'll go through a couple of these things. This is a graph of every single day for 9.5 years, every single day, the number of hours that there's no wind. 9.5 years at KMRB, Martinsburg Airport. You see there's a lot of black on this. That means that there's a lot of time when there's no wind. 92.3% of the days, there's at least 1 hour of no wind. When no wind happens, the technology associated with a smokestack fails, because it really depends on wind up there to blow it around and bring it downstream. So what happens is it comes out of the stack, it cools, and it does what they call fumigates. It just drops, okay? Now the question is, where's it going to drop? Well, the answer is all those black times in here is going to drop right back on top of the factory, or most probably on North Jefferson Elementary School, okay? Now, 19 people died in Costa Rica from methanol ingestion. I explained to you and many times that there's enough methanol coming out of that stack to kill everybody in the DC-Baltimore corridor 3 times, or blind them 12 times, okay? It's enough to kill everybody in this county 3 times every day. But it's probably not going to kill you because it's going to be dilute. But here's the problem. This is methanol, okay? What the liver tries to do is it tries to turn this methanol into carbon dioxide. It's called alcohol dehydrogenase. That's what takes your beer and your Jack Daniels and turns it into carbon dioxide so that you're not drunk anymore. This is ethanol, and the liver takes ethanol and tries to turn it into carbon dioxide also, okay? The problem is the enzyme that grabs this ethanol, this ethanol, it just grabs it right here on the dot, okay? And it only knows that. And when it grabs the methanol, it grabs the methanol in the dot too. And it doesn't know that there's methanol there. It doesn't know that there's ethanol there. It just grabs the dot and tries to turn it into carbon dioxide. When it tries to turn methanol, which comes out of the stack, into carbon dioxide, it makes a mistake and turns it into formaldehyde. Formaldehyde blinds people, it kills people, and that's what those people in the bar in Costa Rica died from. In effect, their liver turned the methanol into formaldehyde.
All right. The consent agenda. Mr. Daly, I see there's at least one change on there. Is that
Yes.
correct?
There was just one change is all you have on there, where we had a placement for the assistant principal. And would you like me to introduce the one individual here this evening as well? I'm still
Yes.
learning your all's process, so please excuse
Yes,
me.
please.
Would like to introduce our selection for principal, and we have Dr. Tyler here this evening, and she is going to be at TA Lowry, and she's been at the assistant principal at TA Lowry for the last 2 years, and she has an extensive background, a 30-year background, as a teacher, 1st, 2nd, and 4th grade, as well as also as assistant professor at Randolph-Macon College and West Virginia Wesleyan College. So we were very happy and excited about bringing her on board as a principal for us, and we're excited about having her here this evening.
Thank you. I just want to take a second and say thank you very much. I look forward to getting started at CW Shipley. Mr. Osborne, filling some big shoes there, and I appreciate everything that Mrs. Martin has done at TA Lowry, a fabulous mentor and friend, and I have her direct number. She'll hear from me frequently, and I look forward to working with Mrs. Reed and everyone at CW. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. All right, do we have a motion for the consent agenda?
Do we have a? Go ahead. Go ahead for the motion, because I have a question.
Second? Second. All right, questions?
Question. Are we going to introduce the number 30?
She's not here this evening,
Okay.
but we are excited about having Tara Lusby here as well. Just to let you know, she's a academic coach currently for us, and she's also one of the individuals that went through the leadership program as well. So one of our own that's been trained up through. So we're excited about bringing her on as an assistant principal.
Oh, well, I guess time's up. Any other questions about the consent agenda? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. All right, that brings us down to unfinished business. There is none. New business. Action on approval of special election for the bond. We had a meeting recently where we took a vote to not do the bond on the October 26th date because of the fact that our bond council, we had to have some deadlines of July 15th to get to them for the bond call, and we did not meet that deadline. As far as the special election, we kind of have two choices. We can either go with the May of 2020 election date, or what our bond council is recommending is to do a date prior to that, such as a December of 2019 date. The rationale behind it is because if we do May of 2020, that means we've missed the tax rolls for that year, which means we could not issue bonds prior to the spring of 2021. So that puts us 2 years down the road. If we, one choice is to fund capitalized interest until the levy rate of spring of 2021, but he advised us that on a $50 million bond issue, 1 year's of the capitalized interest could be up to a couple of $1 million. And obviously, we wouldn't want to do that. Another issue is that the tax exempt status of the bonds, from what I understand, and I'm not a bond attorney, so I'm, this is my interpretation of it from what I understand. But from what I understand, the tax exempt status of the bonds would be at risk if the money is not spent within the 3 to 5 years. So that's another issue where if I don't know whether that clock starts ticking from the date of the election or the date the bonds are issued, or, I don't know. So we probably don't need to actually vote on a bond date this evening. We could probably table that until next meeting, just to kind of, give everybody a chance to mull this over, because I think we were on a path toward May of 2020. But now that that's not advised by bond counsel, we need to put it out there to understand, that we may need to revisit doing an earlier election, a special election for it. Nobody likes to spend money. It's not by choice that we would have a special election. I remember the last levy election that we had, it was an off-cycle election, and we realized that that's, not ideal either, and that would probably that would be on the May 2020 ballot, I would assume, just to make sure that we had another grab at it in case there was a problem. But as far as this bond goes, there are just so many projects that need to be done with the 10-year plan. Looking at that 0 to 5 years, there's a lot of critical items on that, as far as, HVAC systems and buildings. Just a lot of different things that I don't know if we're comfortable putting that off a whole 2 years, because that's where we would be. Any thoughts or comments?
I don't think we have a chance at passing a bond on spending $80 or $90 more thousand for a special election. I don't think we have the public support for that. I mean, I understand what you said to us, but I don't think a bond will fly in this county with us spending $80 or $90 more thousand to do a special election. That's my own personal feelings.
I think that, in many ways I would agree with Mark, and sometimes it does get, it does make me jealous of Berkeley County. They can just, put out there, hey, we're doing a special election October 26th.
October 26th.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and there's nothing. And, we have many of the same needs, and it's, but at the same time, I think that we spend, depending on what kind of deadlines we're talking about, we get some different groups in, we go out to some different groups, and we talk about it. And we're gonna have to discuss it, good, bad, and ugly, and if from the community they feel that, you know what, we know what you're saying, but Jefferson Elementary School, it can stay 56 degrees in classrooms in the winter for right now for the next 2 years. And we can put trash bag or trash cans and buckets at Jefferson Middle School for the next several years. And we're okay with Ranson Elementary School not having air conditioning for another couple years. And if that's what the community decides, then you're right, Mark, we don't have a choice. And so we'll have to say, okay, we'll put it on there, we'll do it in May. That's what the community wanted, and anytime we get those phone calls and upset parents and parents who buy a $500,000 house or $400,000 house in Shepherdstown and they get moved to a different school because they have no room there. Look, you're a member of this community too. If you want something, then you need to vote for it and you need to make it known. If you don't, we understand, but we are a community, so we're gonna have to decide together. And we all live with consequences. That's how it works, so.
Mr. Kaler?
I have to agree with both of you. People that have been talking to me, not me talking to them, but them talking to me, say don't do it because it won't pass. We have passed bond levies for I don't know how many years, but apparently this is not the time to do one right now, and it's a shame for exactly what you're talking about. But if what people are telling me is what the community feels like, it's not going to pass, and I don't want to run it, not because of money, because it's not going to cost us money. People that say that the county commission will not pay for that is not true. By law, they will pay for it, whether they want to or not.
We pay for it, they facilitate it, is the way that it works. But people have to understand that from, October or December, whenever the date is, to May, it's not pushing it back 4 or 5 months, it's pushing it back, a full year and a half.
No, I agree.
And that's what I don't think the public understands.
Well, I don't think they understand either, but nevertheless, if we put it up now, and if what people, and these are people that vote, and, they're not just saying, hey, I don't want you to do that because I don't want to pay for it. And the way we have tried to work it out is that the bond that we have active now will be paid off then. So if we renew the bond, as we are trying to do so, it won't cause any increase or very little increase in the taxes. So, I don't think that's but people have to understand that, and I don't think they understand that. So, But anyway, if we do it right now, I don't think it'll pass.
Ms. Roper?
Well, I believe that we have some bridge building to do, and I think the next 9 months, I believe in this community that listening to them and responding to their requests, that we can meet at a happy medium by next May when it's on the ballot. And I understand that the money will be rolled out in a while, but I think there's been a lot of hurt feelings over this past year, and I just really believe that overall the community is supportive of us and our needs, and I just would like to, hopefully we can take this, like I said, 9 months to earn that trust and build those bridges back. And I think I am very hopeful that we can move on by May 2020.
And that's fine. I mean, nobody likes taxes. I mean, it's a necessary evil and nobody likes it. But we just have to remember that there's a price to pay. And I think we calculated, what was it, $117 a year for the average house. I don't remember the exact number. So, it's not talking about taxing people to death. It is, a sum of money every year. But we have to definitely get feedback as to what everybody's priorities are. I mean, we want these new shiny things and we want air conditioners that work, but at the same time, it can't come out of our operating budget. I mean, we don't have a padded operating budget. We run pretty tight as it is, and, the state seems to cut us more than they do to give us money. So, we just have to be mindful that that's fine, and once we make that decision, that's a road we're going down, because there's no going back. I mean, we can't say, oh, well, everybody's happy and holding hands in the community now, and now is a good time to go out and get a bond. It's going to be the spring of 2021 before we get any funding from that bond.
And from that funding to build a new school is gonna take between 2 and 3 years, so we're looking at least 4 years before we have any kind of a building to house any children in.
Correct.
And I agree with Arthena completely. I do think we also need to develop some kind of a plan, whether it's all of us dividing up and going out to different things and whatnot, because, as we tried to plan and develop and, have OWPR give us a plan, go through every single one of our buildings, what are the needs of every building, what's breaking down, what's not, what's gonna be needed in 0 to 5, what's gonna be needed in 5 to 10. So it wasn't just this willy-nilly, we're gonna pull some number out of the air of what we think we actually need, but we just wanna know, what do we need? Just, what do we need? Fill that out, let us know. And they did a good job with that. We hosted public forums, of which, 10 people came. You put things out there to say, hey, please come. We need to hear what you have to say. We need to have feedback. We want to know. We don't want to spend any money. You don't. What do you want? Do you want one-to-one devices, since other counties in West Virginia clearly have them, and we still don't? And it's making me sick to my stomach. Our kids are going to go to college. The first thing they do is hand them a computer, and we don't even have one for them in our high school. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. But that's $1 million price tag at minimum. So we need to have those discussions, but we cannot have them on our own. And we get, with an issue as divisive as Rockwool, this whole room is packed and it goes all the way up the hallway. You have an issue of, hey, we have a bond. They'll come here to tell you, no, you can't pass a bond, but what's in it? How much is it? What do we need? We haven't had any of that conversation. Well, we did, but no one showed up for that part of the conversation. So you're right, Arthena. We need to get people to say, hey, we're not out here to try to just spend money. It's our money too. It's our taxes. We're trying to figure out what the specific needs of the community are and move on together. So, yeah, it's been a frustrating year and a half, and we've got to try to figure out how to move forward from here. So I think having some time to be able to figure that out, is obviously what we're gonna need. Whether
Okay.
it's a couple months or 9 months, or I don't know, but we need to at least try to figure that out.
Alright. So the way the agenda reads is action on approval of special election for bond. So is there a motion to table the approval of special election of the bond?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, thank you. Alright, and then executive session, we do have a personnel issue, is that
Yeah,
correct?
personnel and legal. Yes.
Personnel and legal, and there will be action,
Yeah, afterwards.
okay. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Alright, thank you.